is Mark Longo, and welcome to the Dominick Natty Show.
Is there damage from the raid that you could show us of how aggressive they were?
This is my wife's bathroom. This is what they did to my wife's bathroom. You know, you're looking for a squirrel. You did this. You're
Wow.
looking for a squirrel. Where are you going to find a squirrel here? You know, and you come over here and, my bathroom and my bedroom were torn apart. I got to turn on some lights, so I'm sorry, guys. They did this. We kept this all here so y'all can see this. This is my house. This is my closets. This is what they did. All to find what? A squirrel and a raccoon? They took windows out. Look at this. It blew my mind. And then, uh, we're talking, what's today, Monday? This happened on Wednesday, and not a single state official has reached out. It's shocking. It's disgusting. It makes you feel like the people that are supposed to protect you are out there to try to kill you.
Did they come in and say, "Where are the pets?" And you said, "I'm not telling you," and then they just started rummaging? Or
So obviously, anybody in my position is going to tell a fib, but my wife instantly told them where Fred was. He was in the closet. They didn't go and get Fred for about 4 hours. They rummaged through my house, even though they knew where Fred was. They took so long that where my wife put him, he actually moved and was hiding in a different area. So when my wife went to go get him, he wasn't even the area that she put him. He actually walked to a different one. So they had ample time to go and grab him. They asked my wife for immigration status. They asked me if there were cameras in the house. I have an OF. I started that thing 2 years ago. It's relevant to this thing. But now you think because we have families here and we have kids here and we do all of this stuff with the community that you think I'm involved with some kind of child thing with my OnlyFans? So again, why would you ask me if there are cameras in the house? Our assemblyman came out and wants to introduce a bill called Peanuts Law. And this law will allow animals who get confiscated by the DEC or any other department to have an ample amount of time before they are executed. I'm going to start crying. I apologize, but you look up and you say, like, dude, you're changing the world. And it's a surreal moment. He might not be here anymore, but there's a fucking bill going out for Peanut. Like, he's changing the fucking world, and that's what I want people to know is he didn't die in vain. Excuse me. It didn't die in vain. And that's why, I put myself out there and I get emotional is because people really don't understand. They think it's just a squirrel. I had this dude every day for the last 7.5 years. Little TMI, I sat on the toilet with Peanut on my shoulder watching TikTok. He did everything with me. We ate breakfast, we brushed our teeth, we did everything together, and you took that away from me for some paperwork. That's what the kicker is here is, man, you destroyed my fucking life for some paperwork. I'll never put this on my fucking squirrel again. I'll never put this on again. And I could sit here for hours and show you his outfits. And I could sit here and say, hey, at 12 o'clock every day, I'm not doing a live anymore. You won't wake up to see that we're doing a live, or you won't check your phone and see we're doing a live. And the first thing you click is this chain on a squirrel. And that's the devastating part of this whole thing is this is what you took away from me. Is our society any safer than it was before? Did we solve anything? No, we solved nothing. You just killed somebody's animals and left. We got a call about 6 months ago of a complaint from somebody on the internet, anonymous complaint. The guy said, "Hey, go and get this. We're go get your wildlife rehabber's license in New York." So what do? We signed up on August 7th. We took the test. My wife got a 97 and I got a 95. We sent in our applications and we were waiting to do our interviews. So, as soon as we got a call of a complaint, we started to do our due diligence. We started getting the paperwork. Again, this wasn't like I was trying to be like above the world or above the law. You have an animal for 7 years and not anybody sparks interest in paperwork or permits or anything like that. So 7.5 years roll by and you're like, what are you talking about? How is it 7.5 years later is when paperwork needs to be filed? They were rummaging. They even had cameras that they lifted over my house to take 360-degree photos of the outside of the house. There was a squirrel and a raccoon and any other wildlife that they deemed unlawful for this. And again, I'm not the one saying, hey, I didn't have the proper license. We were going through the proper paperwork. But a simple, hey, phone call. Listen, Mark, we're coming to take Peanut. We're going to take Fred. You're not getting Fred back. Here's a fine for having Fred. Here's the paperwork to keep Peanut. You can't have Peanut until you do the paperwork. And if you decline this, we're coming to take them anyways. But there was nothing like that. This was build an enclosure for the FDA to stamp, do some paperwork, and pay whatever fee it was. So for everybody bashing me about the paperwork, one, I never knew about this paperwork. Two, this was a perfect educational moment for people to just go, hey, this is what you need to do to get this animal educational, certified, and just do what the state says and do it. So that's what I thought in this little area was they were going to confiscate these animals. Dominic, they went and killed them right when they left my house.
When did they retreat? Like they walk in. When did they actually get the animals?
They didn't get the animals in the beginning. The last thing they did was put the animals in the car. That was the last thing they did. So, that was the kicker was, okay, first of all, neither animal were hidden very well. They were both in closets. So it's not like you had to go in the attic, which they did. I had to put them in areas where I can go and find them. But, it was like, you didn't need 8 hours to hear two animals rummaging in a closet, and especially when my wife told you that Fred was in a closet, you had all of the keys and, again, shame me for trying to save my animals. But, I pleaded my case to them and they didn't give a flying fuck, man. They didn't care about anything. They had a job there and they did it. Their job right there was to find the evidence that they were looking for that wasn't involving the animals, and they took the animals as collateral. That's what happened here, and that's what the story I'm going to stick to. It might just be my opinion because I was here. I saw it. Again, any logical person says they don't need 5 hours to pick up two rodents, okay? Even if you couldn't find them, the house isn't that big. There's like 3 rooms. Like, what would you do if 12 officers showed up at your house? You never got in trouble with the law. You're shitting your pants because you don't know what's going to happen. And then they take them and they kill them. The first initial reaction of anybody in my situation would take their animals and run. So I don't want to hear the shit of, oh, you shouldn't have hid them. Anybody would do what I did in my situation. I met them at the bottom of my driveway, which is about a half a mile long. They issued me the warrant right then and there. And then they drove up to the house where they scared the shit out of my wife. My wife immediately told them where Fred was. And, again, that's how it all started. We got detained. I wasn't read my rights. And this was a criminal search warrant. So how come I didn't get arrested? How come I didn't get a citation? How come I didn't get a violation? I got nothing but paperwork of showing that they took the animals outside of my house and the search warrant. That's the only paperwork I got from these people. And that's the last time I heard from them is when they stepped foot off my property. And since then, nobody.
And you weren't allowed in the house while they were in there. You and your wife were outside in the driveway, or
Dominic, I was escorted to my own bathroom. And before I could go into the bathroom, the officer opened up the back of the toilet to see if I was hiding something in the back of the toilet. Then he sat on the outside of the door and he waited for me as if I was a child, as if I was a goddamn terrorist looking for something to kill them with.
why the bathroom? Did you say is that just?
I simply just said, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. I got police escorted to into my own bathroom while there was investigators already in my house.
Okay. And then after that, you had to what? Wait outside? Is that
go back outside? Yes.
Okay.
I'm not a political person. I don't choose a side, but I can tell you I won't be choosing one of those sides ever again. That I'll still be in the middle, but if I have the opportunity to ever vote, which I've never done before, it's sure as hell not going to be the government in the New York State. We allowed our government to use their power to literally come to my house and steal and kill my animals over some paperwork. This person then trickled a snowball effect to other agencies, and the agencies then approved it, and then they sent it to a judge, and a judge signed off on this. These are people that live in my fucking town.
It's been reported that someone named Monica Kiesler made the initial report. Are you familiar with Monica Kiesler, or do you know who the person is that initiated this or reported you?
I haven't a clue. There has been rumors going around about things, but I had a lapse of judgment and I posted about this woman. Again, I was angry. I knew what they were going to do. I thought there was ample time to be able to reverse something. But they went and killed my animal. So yeah, I was angry. I was mad. And after I took it down, I felt sorry. I don't like to be the person who starts pointing fingers without evidence. And so I don't even know this woman. Until, somebody posted this or sent it to me, I had no idea who this woman was, what she looked like, she lived in Texas. But it comes down to this, Dominic, and I'm not a vengeful person. I don't want to wish anything on anybody. But it's far worse than just the complaint. This woman, if she complained, she complained. But the fact of the matter is the motherfuckers in our government took this complaint and conjured up a story about me and about my life and about my animals. And they found it so compelling to go out and raid my fucking house with taxpayers payers dollars.
You don't know who made the initial like
No.
complaint. When were they from the time they left your ranch? When did they die? Like within like when were they killed or euthanized?
So the kicker to all of this, Dominic, is I never got a phone call from the DEC. I never got a call from a state official. I did not get any call from anybody who told me Peanut passed away. I heard from another news station because they came out and made a statement. They didn't even have the balls to call me personally to tell me they executed my animals. They made a statement to the local news station, and that's how I found out what transpired. In every case that we have come up with and I've researched, every animal had a quarantine time. They went to a rehab facility. They were in good care. You left this place and killed my fucking animals on the same day. The reason why Kathy Hochul didn't come out and come down here and fix this a day later is because the animals were already fucking dead. She had a chance to be the knight in shining armor, and she didn't even have the opportunity because the people that she is supposed to employ already fucking killed the animals. So it raises a lot of points here, Dominic, that this was much bigger than two animals. It is abuse of power. My rights have been violated in multiple different aspects. You violated my wife's rights when you asked her for immigration status as a DEC officer. You violated my life when you came into my house and destroyed my family and my home and took my animals. So there is a lot of questions that this state needs to answer, and they need to answer it quick.
What is this bill basically will like what will it change legally?
Legally, it'll allow animals to have 72 hours in due process before they are executed. And it will help animals like Peanut and Fred. You have that time for people to reach rehabbers, to reach sanctuaries, to get these animals in better hands. If they're neglected, get them somewhere they need to be. If they're not neglected, you have ample amounts of time to get them to where they need to go, or allow their families to get the proper things to get done.
Were you wrong in any way? Like, do you think that you were wrong for keeping these animals as pets? Like, did you do something illegal?
What 100%. I could have got the paperwork. You get no education from anybody. You get a DEC call from an officer that doesn't even know what kind of paperwork you need. You're told that you'll never be able to have Peanut in New York when in fact it's a couple pieces of paperwork. So I'm being told one end that I'm not allowed to have Peanut here, and then I'm being told on the other then that I can apply for some paperwork. So which fucking one is it? It's again, it's an educational time to help the community. This is not an area where you can just go down the street and meet 7 rehabbers. These are segregated small people that have their things going on like I do. So it's not like, oh, a raccoon is on your front step. Let me call Susie Joe down the street to come and pick it up. Like, no, you have to find a person that's in your area. And if they're not in your area, you got to drive 7, 8 hours. Nobody has time for that. We were dealing with animals. So we brought the animal in to make it comfortable, get it food, get it water, clean it up, get it prepped and ready to go outside. This wasn't, let's bring Fred into TikTok and let's bring Fred into his own social media. No, this was a loving, caring animal that just needed an extra step in life and help from humans. Again, if anybody had the opportunity that I had and somebody dropped off the raccoon at your front door, you do whatever it is to help that animal, and then hopefully release it. And that's what we were doing. Again, we have enough shit going on at this farm. I have 74 horses, like I said. The last thing I needed was to take in a raccoon that I was going to keep, and again, we had Peanut. This was just us reaching out and giving a helping hand. A few days ago, we were able to obtain, lawyers, and they want to do a pro bono. There is so many people around this world that want answers and they want justice. So people have stepped up to the plate to support us. And again, I can't thank everybody enough. But yeah, we'll be moving forward with that. Right now, it's just a kind of a waiting game. Is what are they going to throw at me? What are they going to try to make up? What are they going to say about me? Because there's no way you can stick with the rabies story because everybody saw right through that. So what are you going to try to blindside me with? The OnlyFans, a legal platform?
You're suing them for something. So what is it that they did wrong?
Well, they violated my rights left and right. Again, I'm searched a criminal search warrant. I have rights, right? When you're served with a crime, right? If you get a search warrant, there's a crime committed, right? That's the only reason why you would get a search warrant. I wasn't read my rights. I was told I couldn't use my phone. I was never arrested. I was never summoned. I was never fined. Again, I had no due process. You gave me no time to do anything legally. You didn't allow me to call my lawyer. You didn't allow me to do any of the things that I, as a citizen, is allowed to do. And I read in the comments, you know what the crime is for not having the paperwork? It's like a $250 fine. It's not a search warrant, a criminal search warrant.
Body cam footage will come
No,
out, right? And
well,
then
because they weren't wearing them.
they weren't wearing body
No,
cams. So there is no footage of them detaining you in your residence
no,
or on your
sir.
property.
Outside.
Okay. So if you say I wasn't read your rights and they say we did, then there's no video to prove that you're correct.
It's a clear violation of my Fourth Amendment right, and we can go on and on and on. But again, it's the simple fact that this came in. What's the probable cause? It's the probable cause that I have two animals. So then come in here with two people, give me a fine, and take the animals. You don't need to escort me around my own house. The photos and everything speak for themselves. There's going to be a report that is issued. You'll see the photos yourself, so you'll see exactly what happened. And again, it's a lot more to this story that I can't reveal at the moment, but it'll come to fruition. I promise you guys that.
But you have cameras on your
No,
property, right?
sir.
You
No,
don't.
no. I was asked if I had them.
Okay. So they asked like, wow. So they were trying to make sure that they weren't being recorded.
Correct.
But yeah, there's not going to be any photos or video coming out soon because there aren't any of this whole incident.
Right.
Is that what you're?
Correct.
Wow.
If you're a skeptic of what I do, come to the farm. I'll buy you a plane ticket and you could come here and work on this damn farm and see what we put into this farm. Our blood, sweat, and tears go into it for $0 in return. We'll never pay ourselves for this thing. You'll never look up my organization and see my name with a salary. It's all public information. Our taxes are public information. All of this. I have the IRS paperwork of our 501c3 downstairs that people are trying to discredit. So our bills for the sanctuary alone are 20 to 20. It's something that my normal job can't carry on its own.
This OnlyFans, I mean, like, what is? I mean, what do you put on it? Do you put full nudity on there,
Oh,
or is it? Yeah.
yeah, I express myself, and I'm not the first. I'm not one to shy away from it.
How lucrative is your OnlyFans? Do you know how much you're making, like, per month or per year? And has it gone up since this
No,
situation?
I make enough to cover the bills. I think somebody wrote that I make $800,000 a month. Dominic, if I was making that much
No.
money, this place they would have golden roads. I wouldn't be begging for people to help me build an arena here in a barn. It would have already been built.
People are claiming that you're making $800,000 a month on OnlyFans.
I wish.
So yeah. So you said you're paying the bills. So you're making, and then you said about 20 to 25,000 a month is what it costs, right? Are you saying that the bodies of your pets are still intact? Like they're still in some sort of holding, and you can get them,
No,
or
sir, I haven't a clue.
no
Again,
idea.
nothing that came from them. Again, in order to check for rabies, you have to cut their heads off. And I know that's mutilation, and I know that a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but that's how you check for rabies. They dissected my two animals on a fucked up bullshit ass rabies vector, that's what you're going to get. I'm praying that I can get Peanut back so I could give him a proper burial, and this one's going to hit me hard. But the funeral home down the street on this Saturday. So if any of you guys are in the Elmira or Pine City area, we're going to host a funeral for Peanut at the funeral home. And I know that sounds ludicrous. I know that sounds ridiculous. I know that's a funeral for a squirrel, but history made itself happen in the last couple of days. It is just about Peanut and it's just about Fred, and we just want to go and grieve for a little bit.